All right, yeah. So this is episode 1 of Around the Globe Baseball, and I have Lorenzo Cain with me, former Kansas City Royal and Milwaukee Brewers center fielder, where you two-time All-Star Gold Glove winner, ALCS MVP, and World Series winner. So very, very good resume. I've always loved watching you. Even as a Brewers fan, I mean, I watched that Royals team because that team was special. So one of my first questions is like you played in the AL and you played in the NL. I mean, two different time periods as well. Like, was there a moment that you think kind of like defined your career? I mean, I know that whole 2014, 2015 with the Royals is when you really started to show up in the MLB. Like, is there a specific moment where you're really like, this is my place, this is my stand in the
Hmm.
MLB?
Huh. Specific time. I would say I would say 2014.
Yeah.
Kind of, playing that season, getting an opportunity to go to the World Series, which was,
Hmm.
a lot of fun. We had a blast.
Oh yeah.
Um, when
Hmm.
uh when Ned Yost moved me to the three hole,
Yes. Yes, he
because
did.
yeah, so it was kind of my first time ever really hitting, third. I always looked at that
Yeah.
as a position of, your best hitter or power hitter, a guy that
Yeah.
consistently drive in runs. So the fact that he showed that kind of confidence in me,
Hmm.
I felt like that made me take my game to another level. And
Gotcha.
that's kind of when I felt like I've arrived, to say the
Yeah.
least.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you've arrived to the league. So yeah, you played
Yeah.
in, I mean, Kansas City, so you played a lot of AL teams, and then you moved to the NL with the Brewers and played a lot of NL teams. Is there like, since you're a Gold Glove fielder, is there certain ballparks that you're like kind of despise playing in? Because I mean, I know that there's some funky dimensions with places like Fenway and that, or do they all just like kind of
Mhm.
seem the same to you after playing for 10 years?
Yeah, after you play in them enough, it just kind of you
Yeah.
just kind of get used to them. You kind of go into a routine of, all right, this is I know what to expect now. It's not new to me anymore. So
Hmm.
basically, let's go out here and get it done, make plays. You know me, I'm trying to catch everything
Oh
out
yeah,
there.
of
So
course.
but yeah, I would say the Phillies were probably one of the tougher as far as fans to play in front of, because man,
Yeah.
those Philly fans, they are ruthless. They let
Oh
you
yeah.
have it the entire game. So yeah, but overall, it kind of just get used to the stadiums the more you play in
Mhm.
them.
Yeah, no, I got you. Yeah, I was about to
Mm.
say fans impact. I mean, like you gotta block that out. They're doing it trying to get in your head, but like you're a pro, like they're drunk fans in the outfield. But yeah, because I noticed that. I mean, because I've been to about 12 baseball parks, and like I did a road trip this summer and we tried to see the Brewers as many times, like even when we were going, so like Pittsburgh and places like that. I mean,
Hmm.
I noticed like certain parts of the stadium, like left field at Pittsburgh. I know you played center field, but
Yeah,
left field at Pittsburgh is also like a
yeah.
big heckler stage. Like no matter who's there, I've seen Ben Gamble there, I've seen Yelich there, I've seen Braun, and it's like the same. So yeah.
Right. I kind of, like I say, left center in Pittsburgh was tough. I mean, even though I played center, you still had to get over there and cover. And
Yeah.
you kind of hated when a ball would get hit in that gap, because you knew
Yeah.
you had to run, was like 400 some feet over there. So
Yeah.
yeah, I kind of enjoyed the heckling of the fans. That kind of
Yeah.
would drive me.
Yeah.
To drive me to go get a hit, or get a hit, make a play,
Hmm.
because me, I interact with the fans a lot when we're
Yeah,
on
you
the
do.
road. So when I'm out there, I just kind of enjoy it. We laugh, we talk, and then
Yeah.
it's always that good feeling of making a play, a catch, or driving a big run, or getting a big hit, and then coming out and just looking those same exact fans in the face, and
Hmm.
just kind of giving it back to them. So that was always a good feeling for me.
Yeah, I mean, like you have the not today what you started. I mean, that became I got 2018 after that on opening day. It doesn't fit me anymore. I got the shirt said like not today, and it was like doesn't fit me because it's been 4 years, almost 5 years. So I've grown since then. But I
Yeah.
remember I got that. I mean, because granted that was at home, so there's not many fans to stare down. But I mean, you've done that in multiple ballparks, and it probably just
Mhm.
feels great because they heckle you the whole time, and then you just rob a home run in front of them, and you're like,
Yes,
yeah,
yes.
yeah.
Yeah, I give it back to him. So I
Yeah.
enjoyed that more than anything,
Yeah.
making a play and doing something like that. That was always special for me.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's really cool. And then I was wondering because like you talked about hitting in the like three spot. I mean, you've been moved around a lot. Just hitting in general, like are there specific like pitchers that you're like, oh God, I gotta face him? Because I mean, like you think of teams like the Cubs who face the
Yeah.
Brewers all the time, and then Hader comes in and they always show the stats on TV. It's like they bat like 1 of 16 against Hader. So are there
Mhm.
any pitchers that you face where you're just like I don't know how to say, like, lost, or you're like, oh
Yeah.
God.
No,
Yeah.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
As a hitter, we all have that one guy,
Yep.
and the one guy for me was Max Scherzer. So
Max Scherzer. Yeah.
yeah, I just couldn't figure him out. He's owned me my entire career, which
Yeah.
sucks to say. Um, but yeah, he had that combination of that two-seamer slider action, and
Mm-hmm.
anyone who knows me knows that the slider is my kryptonite.
Oh
So
yeah. Oh yeah.
so yeah, I think I'm like 0 for 20 against him, maybe
Oh
10 to
really? Wow.
15, maybe 10 to 15 punches. I can't remember me getting a hit off of him. So
Yeah.
if we can find the numbers on that, if I got a hit,
Yeah. I did.
that's
I
definitely
could
nice to hear.
probably find that somewhere. Baseball Reference has like everything in those places. Yeah. But I mean, helps
Right.
being fast. If you're ever in a slump against someone, just put a little bunt down. Which, I mean, that I make that sound easier than it is, especially with a slider tailing away from you.
Right,
But I mean, yeah,
right.
yeah. And so obviously you're retired now, but now they're talking about all these new rules in the MLB. I don't know if you've like heard of them. I mean, like pitch
Mm,
clock. They're adding pitch clock, trying to speed up the game. They might make the bases bigger. They might add
yeah,
robo umps to where, like, I was just wondering from like your point of view, because everyone has a different point of view. The fans that want the game to be faster will obviously be like, yeah, but I mean, if you've played the
yeah,
game for 10 years and then you see them change, like, what do you think? Because in my opinion, like, I don't like it. I mean, if umps are perfect, like, then I mean, all sports, refs, whatever, they're not perfect. Obviously,
right.
baseball, there's probably the most controversy with umps. I mean, I've
Hmm.
seen in the minors they've had like pitch review or something, like it would be called a
Mm,
strike, and then like they could review, like put the headset on, and then it like changes to a ball, which they're testing all this stuff out in the minors. But then another
hmm.
thing they're thinking of adding is bigger bases, which would make it, I saw some numbers like 4.5 inches shorter from like first to
Right,
second and second to third, which on, like, I mean, on someone stealing that, like, that could actually be the difference. So I didn't know
right.
if you kind of just like how it was, or like with these changes, if you were kind of like, yeah, that's something they should do.
Yeah, I'm really not a big fan of all the new changes. I
Yeah.
kind of just like the game the way it
Yeah.
is.
Hmm.
But like I say, the older I get, the more I see that the game is changing in all aspects. So I'm not a fan of a lot of the changes, especially the bases. Those I got a chance to when I rehabbed a little bit to play what I would call them the pizza box square bases or whatever. I was not a fan of them. I thought they were way too flat. They just didn't feel right. So
Yeah.
I wasn't a fan of it. But like I say, my time is up. So
Yeah. You don't
I
gotta,
don't
you
have to
don't have to
deal.
worry
Yeah, I don't
about
have
it.
to deal. I don't have to deal with it anymore. So but yeah, I mean the umps are the umps.
Hmm.
Some are gonna make bad calls, some are gonna make good calls. But
Hmm.
I feel like I always try to stay professional. As far I think I only got tossed maybe a few times in my career. So
Yeah.
yeah, I was never the guy to argue a lot as far as strike zone because I understand it's a tough job, but and everyone's competitive. I
Hmm.
know they want to get it right, but like I say, but I'm not a fan of all the changes. I like having just umps back there. It feels like a real baseball game, and not all the reviewing or whatever. But like I said, I'm not. My time is up, so
Yeah. You don't
I
gotta
don't have to deal
worry.
with it anymore. So I'll be watching from afar.
Yeah. So are you still gonna like follow, I mean, then watch even as retired, and like, are you just following Royals and Brewers, or did you have a team kind of growing up? Because now that you're not playing for someone, I guess you could root for anyone in a way, or you know what I mean by that?
Right.
Yeah. Is there anyone
Yeah,
specific?
I'm always watching, like I say, yeah, I'll definitely be paying attention to the Royals and the Brewers.
Hmm.
Obviously, might get a chance to possibly head down to Kansas City and maybe make it official this year. We'll see.
Really?
It's
Nice.
nothing official yet, but
Yeah.
like I said, they're close to me. They're
Hmm.
it's 5 hour drive for me, so it's close. It's right there. So
Yeah.
we'll see. Nothing set in stone yet, but we'll see. But yeah, I'll kind of just watch from afar. Like I said, I have all these kids over here, 3 kids, and I'm coaching their baseball, I'm coaching their basketball, and they're also in flag football. So
Wow.
I'm definitely been busy with those 3 for sure.
Yeah. What's your favorite to coach out of those three?
I would say basketball would be my favorite
Yeah.
to coach. I feel like sometimes baseball it can become very individual sport sometimes.
Yeah.
Because like I say, no one's helping you in the box, you know. Yeah, and no one's helping you in the outfield. So
Yeah.
it's all on you. So but yeah, I enjoy coaching basketball, and my boys seem to love it. So yeah, I've been having a blast just coaching the younger kids and just teaching them the game and the fundamentals of everything. So I definitely enjoy that more than anything.
Yeah. I mean, I know you started playing baseball like sophomore year of high school, so way later than people would think for like an MLB player. Did you play basketball or anything else growing up, which you kind of thought you were more set on before baseball, or was it more just like for fun kind of?
So actually, I tried out for basketball my ninth grade year in high school.
Nice.
First time I ever tried out for a sport, and I got cut. So definitely not a good feeling. They cut me from
Yeah.
the basketball team, and then I said, well, after all that, I'm not a big fan of doing a ton of running.
Mm.
So I don't know if you know the conditioning in basketball is kind of
Oh
it's
yeah.
kind of insane. So
Suicides and everything. Yeah.
yes, so
Yeah.
not a fan of that. I did it, but once they cut me, I said it was time for me to try another sport. And
Hmm.
my mom, she wouldn't let me play football, so football was out of the picture.
Yep.
So I was like, hey, guess I'll try baseball. So
Hmm.
yeah, I tried out for the baseball team my 10th grade year, and ended up making the JV team by default because they needed an extra player.
Wow.
and and yeah, now I mean, long story short, I've got an opportunity to play for 18 plus years in the
Hmm.
minors and majors. So yeah, it was a fun ride, something I didn't expect, but yeah, I definitely put in the work to be in the position I'm in today for sure.
Yeah, yeah, more about the work because like I mean you just tried for that sport and like made JV. How did you kind of like progress that quickly, I guess? I mean, like you go sophomore to senior year and then you have to go on from there. So how do you like progress at that time?
Um, so I wasn't a big fan of sitting on the bench. I was not
Yeah.
a fan of riding the bench. So after getting an opportunity to play my 10th grade year on
Hmm.
JV, I actually made the varsity team my junior year, and I sat the bench, and
Mm.
that feeling just didn't sit well with me. I was kind of upset. I probably pout a little bit as well. Probably upset. I was really upset about sitting on the bench. So I remember just going to the cages during lunch sometimes, and we had a pitching machine, and I
Nice.
would just
Yeah.
put balls in there. I would hit during lunchtime because I just would not settle for sitting on the bench. So after my 11th grade year, I got opportunity to start my senior year, but it took a lot of hard work, especially with the short amount of time I had to learn the game and progress as fast as I did, because I just simply wanted to play. And
Yeah.
yeah, the rest of it's kind of history. I got opportunity to get a scholarship from Tallahassee Community College, and yeah, that was only college that offered me a scholarship. So
Yeah.
yeah, I got a full ride there, and then Milwaukee drafted me, gave me a shot, and yeah, just kind of took my opportunity and ran with it.
All right, yeah, that was gonna be my next question because I know a lot of players go straight from high school to MLB. I didn't know you went there. So did you go there all 4 years or like how does that work? Because I know after high school, then up to
Mhm.
MLB, it's like not like any other sport with like football and basketball. I know there's all these different combinations. So like how long were you there basically? Or like what was the path?
Mhm. So the path was I was drafted out of high school.
Okay.
So back when I was coming up, you had the draft and follow,
Hmm.
which a team could sign the rights to you, and you had the option to either sign or go to college. And so Milwaukee drafted me in the 17th round out of high school, and I elected to go to college because I didn't think I was ready.
Yeah.
So I felt like I needed to go to college to see better pitching, because I went
Hmm.
to a very, very small school. So I decided to go to college. And after having a decent season in Tallahassee, I decided to sign with Milwaukee. And I think that was 04, 05, right around that time, 2004, 2005. And yeah, my career kind of started.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, no, that's really cool because I mean everyone just has a different journey and that's why like baseball is my
Mm-hmm.
favorite sport because you have like college football, they have to play a certain amount of years to then go NFL. I mean,
Yeah.
like this is really like your own path and like you said, you signed with them and then you still went to college to play
Mm-hmm.
and then you went back. So I mean, you went in 2004, you said, which is when I was
Yeah.
born. So it's been a while. That was when I
Wow,
was
you were born
born.
in 20. Oh man,
Yeah.
2004. You were born. Wow,
So
man, you're making me feel old.
yeah.
Yeesh.
Yeah. So what was the minor league process? Because you got called up in 2010, I think.
Right.
You would know better, obviously.
Yeah, the minor league. Well, I'll just start here. I first signed, and actually, it was my first time ever even getting on an airplane. Was when I
Nice.
signed Milwaukee. So, yeah, I was a little nervous about flying. I might have cried a
Mhm.
little bit. I don't remember. I don't recall. but but yeah, ended up getting on the airplane, heading out to spring training in Arizona for Milwaukee, and yeah, the first 2 weeks of spring ball did not go well for me.
Yeah.
Honestly, I thought there was a chance they would send me home after the first 2 weeks because I was that bad, to say the least.
Yeah.
So but that was my first time ever seeing guys throw mid 90s consistently.
Hmm.
Like I said, I went from a small school to pro ball, and it was guys throwing gas, and I had to adjust. It took me a few weeks to adjust to that, and luckily, they didn't give up on me too soon. And
Yeah.
I actually ended up winning. So we had spring ball there, and then I played in the Arizona League my first year, and I actually ended up winning MVP of the Arizona League.
Oh,
So
nice.
I got off to a good start for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's really cool. And I mean, minor league pay compared to like major league pay, they all talk about like it's very low. Like they think major league
Yeah.
pay and then they don't process the minor league pay. So like how did you kind of like deal with that if you don't mind me asking? Because I know it's like, I mean, you're now kind of living on your own. You go from high school to there to living on your own, not getting paid much until you get to the major leagues. And it was like 6 years of your life. So how did you like work through all of that?
It forces you to grow up fast.
Yeah.
Like I said, you go from, like I said, to college. I did 1 year of college to basically living on your own and figuring out things on your own. You start making a little money. I didn't sign for a ton of money, so because I was a 17 rounder.
Hmm.
So yeah, you basically it's a lot of fast food. Like I say, Waffle House.
Waffle
There's a
House
lot
is
of
so good.
yes, because it's good and it's cheap at the same time. So
Yeah.
there was a lot of fruity pebbles in my
Yeah.
past. So yeah, it was you just find a way to make it. You
Hmm.
don't eat the best of food when you're going through the minor leagues. You eat PB&Js all the time, which I can't stand the smell of those now because I had so many. But yeah, you just find a way to survive, and you keep working, you keep getting after it. I had a lot of good people in my corner to kind of continue to push me because I had some rough spells there where I didn't
Hmm.
think I would make it. So
Yeah.
but yeah, I had great people in my corner. And yeah, you just find a way to get through it, keep pushing, keep playing. And like I say, you kind of just try to find a way to play well, and hopefully you'll get your shot. And once you get your shot, you got to take full advantage of it.
Yeah. So like he mentioned like eating and all that stuff. I mean, like
Mm,
I remember I saw an interview with like Yelich. He ate him and JT Realmuto ate Chipotle however many times. It might have been like 140 something. I remember they had it on the scoreboard and something too. They got like
yeah.
platinum cards at Chipotle because they go every day. What was your
Nah.
what was your I don't
well,
know how
well,
true that is, how like what the numbers are, but like what was your like go-to spot, I guess? Because
like I say,
yeah.
if you're eating Chipotle, that's like eating if you eat Chipotle in the minor league, that's like eating a filet mignon every day.
I was about to say that is pricey if you do that many days. I mean, it is probably like,
Yes.
and especially a major leaguer, you're probably gonna get more than what typical people get. So that's probably a good $15 a day. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't. If I remember correctly, I think it was when we run a roll. I don't know if it might have been 15, $20. I can't
Mhm.
remember. It's been so long. But yeah. But you honestly, you tried to you tried your best to save as much as possible because the uncertainty of your future.
Mhm.
Am I gonna make it? Or because the pay is, like I say, is worse than like working at, I don't know, like a McDonald's or something like that.
Yeah.
So I tried to eat for as cheap as possible and save as much as I could while I was in the minors because, like I said, you don't know if you're gonna make it or get that shot. So I mean, you're putting in the work and you're playing and you're doing everything you need to do. But like I say, you still just don't know. It's a lot of good players out there. But unfortunately, I continue to work, continue to do what I need to do. And like I said, I got my shot in what was that, 2010? And once I got that call up, every time I stepped on the field, I tried to make plays. I tried to get hits. I tried to do whatever I need to do to stay up there, because once you experience that lifestyle, you don't want to ever let it go.
Yeah, I mean, once you get there, you're like, you don't want to go back. And then, I
Right.
mean, yeah, and then you grow with your team. You make the ALCS in 14. You win in 14. You go to the World Series. You just fall short, but then the next year you bounce back and win. How? Because like it's very uncommon in baseball for like teams to go back to back. I mean, like when you think they always could like make the CS and then the World Series, like it's really hard. Like, how did your team, like, what did you kind of like talk about? Because you made the World Series, just fell short, and then the next year you went and won in 5. Like, what was that whole off season? Because I mean, it is a long way. It's basically, yeah, like 365 days until you could do that again. So, like, what was that whole kind of like talking process and that? Yeah.
Well, what I will say is that Kansas City group, those guys were just built different.
Yeah.
Those guys were built different. I don't think those group of guys. I mean, the work ethic, the heart, just the will to just figure out the ways to win was something I've never experienced. We I think what made us really good was the chemistry. We got for the most part, we had the same core group for 6-7 years. So, and it was special. It was almost like we were brothers, and I still talk to those guys often. And we're, like I said, we're in a group chat as well. And just getting the opportunity to experience going to the World Series. I think we all knew what we were capable of, but we had never been in that situation before. So just being there, it was like we felt like we were supposed to be there.
Yeah.
And Bumgarner, he hats off to him. The guy was an animal down the stretch in 2014. He was basically unhittable. So I always say I feel like he won their World Series all by himself sometimes. But yes, going into 15, showing up to spring training, I just felt like the season was different. I don't think I've ever showed up where every guy was in shape. Every guy was ready to go. You could tell everybody was focused. And I think it's having that taste of going to the World Series motivated us to get back. And we always called it unfinished business. And I felt it in spring training. Day one of spring training, I felt it. I've never had that feeling before. And the mentality we had throughout the season, it was a lot of fights throughout that season.
Yeah.
But at the same time, we backed each other up. We didn't back down for anybody. And just a core group of just strong guys ready to compete day in and day out. And we just really showed everybody what kind of team we had, and we'll be forever known as champions.
Yeah, no, that's really cool, because just to have, I mean, team chemistry, obviously skill set is a reason why you win, but chemistry is like a big part. Did you have, I mean, it sounds like you were like very close with everybody. Was there like one player that you're closer with than others, or was it all kind of just on the same level?
We were all kind of on the same level. I mean,
Yeah.
It wasn't like, hey, I hang out with this guy. We kind of all just hung out as a group. In the clubhouse, we all laughed and joked with each other. And I think that's hard to come by with a group of guys. And everything just clicked so well with that team. And I mean, we backed each other. If someone did something that, we didn't score, or we didn't score from first, so we had that mentality. If you're on second, make sure you're scoring. Somebody get a base hit, you're scoring. Or, somebody hit a double, you're on first. You're going first to home. And I just think we had that mentality of just going out there and kicking butt every night. And we just kind of, that aggressiveness, that mentality kind of rubbed off on each other. And it was just, 2015 season was just fun to watch. And I was just definitely lucky and grateful I was able to be a part of that.
Yeah, I mean, I obviously remember watching baseball more when I'm older now than younger, but I like do remember that, because like you and the Giants, that was kind of like prime baseball for me. What really got me in it. I mean, like that postseason just felt different. And even in like the wild card or like the DS, even that was like when the Cubs and the Nats and everyone, it just kind of like felt different. It was always like exciting. It didn't matter like the range of records, but yeah, that was
Yeah.
always very entertaining. So then, yeah, that was Kansas City, and then you went to Milwaukee where you
Mhm.
played a couple years. How was it like leaving Kansas City? Because I mean, when you grow so attached, I mean, I know you were Milwaukee rookie season and then went to Kansas City,
Mhm.
but you kind of grow so attached to Kansas City and then you have to move on. Like, was that hard, or were you kind of like, we got the World Series, guys are kind of going, it's time to go?
No, it was tough. I wish Kansas City could have signed all of us back.
Yeah.
But I understand that it's a business, and that was basically impossible because we all play so well, and
Hmm.
I feel like it was really group. It was a good group of just talented players, and it probably would be impossible to keep all of us together because they're going to get a little expensive, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, I wish we all could have signed back with Kansas City, but you know, as you saw, we all kind of went our separate ways, and we all found new teams, and you know, you try to go to new teams and build relationships, and you know, try to win championships with your next team. But I don't think any team can compete or compare to the team we had in Kansas City.
Yeah. So if you ever have your retirement thing there, I'll try to check that stadium off my list because I haven't
Nice.
been in Kansas City yet. So yeah,
Yeah.
that'd be pretty cool. So then Milwaukee, I mean, you go there 2018. You have Moustakis come with you, so you do have
Mhm.
one Royal come with you. What did
Right.
you like kind of like feel with that team? Because that was kind of like the peak for them in their past, I mean, 20 something years. Like they hadn't made the wild card since maybe '08 with Sabathia, or it might have been
Mhm.
2011. I can't remember for sure, but I mean, you come there, Moustakis comes there, MVP Yelich comes there. It's just like completely different in Milwaukee. Like, how was that kind of just like changing to a new team, but still being like one of the most competitive teams in the league?
Yeah, I mean, like I said, we had a good team as well. Everybody gave great effort, you know. But we fell short. I mean, I think that's the most Milwaukee's made it to the playoffs in consecutive years that
Yeah.
I've ever seen. So yeah, that just showed we could compete every single year, but we just couldn't get over the hump for whatever reason that was. We always fell short, and yeah, it's disappointing, you know, because like I said, you put so much into a season, day in and day out, and then you get to that point where all right, we're here, we're in the playoffs. All right, let's go out here and win it all. And I think our first year, me personally, that first year, I mean, I felt like that was our best shot, and when we fell short of beating the Dodgers, man, it hurt. It hurt big time. And yeah, but like I said, you just you live with it, you move on. You know, I'm not sure what Milwaukee has planned moving forward, but you know,
Yeah.
like I say, I wish them nothing but the best, and hopefully great things happen. But yeah, it was a fun ride for me. I enjoyed my time in Milwaukee. But like I said, all good things must come to an end, I guess.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I mean
Yeah.
that was a special ending to the season. You won however many games in a row, and then you had game 163, which
Mm,
that game was at 1 o'clock during the week. So I'm in the back of the
yes.
classroom with my phone on. I got the game. Like I was watching it in school and I got home and finished it. I mean, that was probably the craziest game I watched as a Brewers
Mhm.
fan because like there haven't been many like playoff hopes, and that determined the wild card or the one seeds. That was like a huge gap. And
Yes.
then the Cubs went to the wild card and lost right away. So it's kind of
And
crazy to
off.
see like how, I mean, they probably felt like they had a great season too, and then it turns into losing in
Hmm.
the wild card. And I think they got shut out or something. I don't even know if they scored.
Yeah.
So I mean, like the difference in seasons, you know?
Yeah, that's different in baseball, man. Like I said, you got to show it and bring it every day. 'Cause, you know, no matter what you think the talent is, it's baseball. You got to show up and play, and you can't be beat anytime by anybody. So, yeah, it was fun. You know, definitely that wild card game there against the Cubs. I just remember the basic up the middle. Um, is that C-Shack I think I faced? I
Yes, it
can't
was.
remember.
It
But
was. I was gonna ask you
yeah,
that. I had a couple questions
okay.
to see how well you remember stuff like that, and it was Cishak.
Yes.
You do remember that, yeah. He came in, and then
Yeah.
you were like, didn't phase you that they
Yeah.
changed pitchers. Yeah.
Yeah, when he came in, you know, I'm not gonna lie, I was a little nervous, you know, because you know he's those side armors kind of they kind of gave me a tough time throughout my career. So
Yeah.
I was like, old Joe, he's gonna bring in the C Shack. And I remember all I was thinking the entire bat. I was like, listen, just stay up the middle, line drive with the middle. Don't roll over. Don't roll over. Keep your hands inside. And so that's the entire. I think the pitch he threw that I hit up the middle was, inside pitch, but I was able to keep my hands in there. Probably one of my better swings that I've had throughout my career. And I was fired up when I got a hit off of him because I think he had my number as well throughout that season.
Yeah. Do you have like when you bat? I mean, I've noticed like if you have a timing mechanism, I know like with your hands, you like do this sometimes. Does
Yeah.
that help you like time? Because I mean, everyone has their own thing, but I always notice that, and I'm like, it works,
Yeah.
but I like could never figure out like what that truly was, or if it just like helps you time up a pitch better or something.
It's just a habit I built over my entire career, where it's like that was my. It's like I released and I would go, and I'm not. Honestly, I'm not trying to do it on purpose. It's just something that I did,
Yeah.
I can't explain it. It's weird because I won't do it during BP,
Huh.
when I'm working in BP or in the cage, but in the game, I only did it in the game. I can't explain it. So yeah, but it worked, I got an opportunity to play a long time. Anyone who knows me, I can't really explain a lot with my swing, but it worked for me.
Yeah, I mean, everyone has their
yeah.
own thing. Because I would watch and I'd be like, I mean, you probably just grew so accustomed to it that you didn't recognize it as much. Because I always think, I'm like, is he thinking he's like timing it? And that would just like mess with me. But I mean, if you do it for 10 years, it gets to a point where it's just like, that's what I do. It probably doesn't, it doesn't like register as much, like trying to like, oh, am I gonna do it at the right time? I mean, everyone has their swing.
That's the thing. Yeah, that's the thing. And like I say, it doesn't matter where you start your hands and what you do with your hands. The main goal is just to get to that same position every single time. And like I say, as a hitter, I always thought just stay inside the ball, and I think that's what helped me help my swing stay as consistent as it did throughout my career.
Mm-hmm.
And like I say, I just continue to stay with that, and it worked. So we rolled it out until the end, I guess.
Yeah. So that I really appreciate you like doing this because that was really cool. So I do have a couple of questions to see how well.
Okay.
I mean, through this interview, you remember who you got hits off of and stuff. So I had a couple.
Oh boy.
I'll make them get progressed. There's only like 4 because I think the game 163 was one of them. Who you remembered?
Okay.
I got the list. I wrote the list down. I'll make them harder as they
All
go.
right.
This one thought would be the easiest. 2015 World Series, 12th inning, and when you won it against the Mets, you got the bases clearing double. Do you remember who you faced? Bases clearing double to take a 7-2 lead. Do you remember who you faced?
Oh, in the World Series 15?
World Series 15.
Oh yeah, that was Cologne right there.
Yep.
Yeah, I remember that one. I was, man, are you talking about fired up?
Yeah.
Ooh-wee. That's another guy that had, my kryptonite was, you had a good two, not an average two-seamer now. Let me clarify that.
Yeah.
You had a really good two-seamer and you had a good slider away, you had me, you basically had me all day. But yeah, I knew he had a two-seamer, but he didn't have the velo that he once had. So yeah, he came in there. I think he might have left over the middle a little bit, but that's the same thing I'm thinking. Stay inside, don't roll over, stay inside the ball. And I was able to pull the hands in and line drive over the shortstop head. And I just remember getting on second base, and man, it was just goosebumps. It was chills. I knew after that we were going to win the game because I knew that bullpen was lights out. There's no coming back from there. If you get those guys a few runs, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, and you won that World Series on the road. Obviously, it would have been like really cool from your home crowd. But is it also like kind of cool to win it on the road? Like packed with Mets fans, and then you just walk out as the champs, kind of like how you were talking about like hecklers and that. You shut them down. You kind of shut the entire Mets fan base down that night, I guess, with that double in the win.
Yes, I enjoyed it very much because I just remember being in the outfield. I think they called me every name in the book. So to shut them down there with the double, Like I said, I just love breaking hearts out there. So
Yeah.
I enjoy it very much.
Yeah. All right. Next one was going to be a game 163, which you knew. Okay. So
Okay.
now on to the Brewers. NLCS against the Dodgers, game 2. In the first inning, you robbed a home run. Do you remember who it was off of?
It, I do know it. Right. It was right field, right center.
Yep.
Why can't I think of his name right now? I got his face, but I can't think of his name. Oh man, I remember because that Turner was on first base.
Yes, he was. You
But
remember every detail about him. Yeah.
I cannot remember his name.
Little
I mean,
hint. This was probably like his last year in the MLB, probably.
yes, because he played for the Cardinals a little bit, right?
Yep. Okay, so you really know who this is.
I know who it is. I just can't think of his name
Cardinals
right now.
World Series hero against the Rangers.
Yes. I cannot think of his name.
No?
Wow. No, he was good at standing inside the ball.
It was
I tell me.
David Freese.
David Freese. Why did I not think of that? I knew exactly who it was, but I couldn't.
Yeah.
Yes.
All
I'm
right.
bad with names.
Well, this is all names, so we'll see. But this name
right.
you should be go with. I'll make it a little easier after that one. Game 6, 2015 ALCS, where you had the mad dash. I mean, you talked about if you're on second, you're scoring. You're on first. You went first to home. Do you remember who hit it down the right field line for you?
Oh yeah, Hosmer.
Okay, good. I had to ease up a little bit. How to make sure.
Oh yeah.
All right, last one. 2019, when you won your Gold Glove, you robbed 5 home runs. Can you name every player you robbed that year?
I know that's not gonna happen, but I'll try my best. I would say
I can go over the teams or the game or something if you need a little.
Okay. I'm gonna throw out a few, and then after that, I probably need help. So I know Martinez.
Yep, opening
Cardinals
day.
first game, opening day. Todd Frazier, New York. One in Arizona.
Yeah.
I can't think of his name.
He later on went to play for the Brewers. You might have played with him actually. I think he was on the team while you were still in the league. I think he played for like a half a season with the Brewers recently. It was probably only half a season.
I won't remember. I know that one, Arizona, Colorado.
Yep, Colorado. Yep.
That 4. I won't be able to give you the names, but I remember the home runs.
So you got Martinez for the Cardinals. You got Frazier for the Mets. There is one other Cardinal, and then Diamondbacks or Rockies. I mean, everywhere. You know where it is. You just gotta think. Yeah.
Where was the last one? I can't remember. 4.
Yeah, I don't know the order of these. I mean, I know Jose Martinez was opening day. I don't know the exact order specifically. But yeah, one other Cardinal. The Diamondback, I'm pretty sure he played half a season, like the second half of the season on the Brewers. It was probably 2021, if I'm not mistaken. It should be 2021.
I won't remember. I told you I'm bad with names.
I
can remember the plays, but
Eduardo Escobar.
Oh,
yeah. Was that 21 or 20? I think that was 21 because
that was 21. It was.
20 was COVID season.
Yes, because he gave me the hat tip. I remember now.
Yeah.
Yes, he did. Yeah, I remember. Who was the guy in Colorado?
It was Garrett Hampson.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then
I'm missing one.
Cardinal. It was another Cardinal. He was on the Cardinals like for almost all of his career. He recently left.
Lefty.
Yep.
Matt Carpenter.
Yes.
Yes.
There you go.
All right.
That's all I had. I had to have a little mix, which like Hosmer and that I expected you to know right away, and then this. Yeah. But I mean, talking with you this whole time, your career pretty well. I mean, obviously it's like the big moments. It's stuff you remember for your life. But yeah, I really appreciate you doing this to start off kind of my page on interviewing different people around the world. But that's all I got. Is there anything that I didn't ask you that you wanted me to ask?
Yeah, I think that's about it. I think you got
Yeah.
all the good stuff out, man.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, you got the good stuff out.
Yeah.
Yeah, well,
Well,
I'm glad I was able to start your first interviewing process. I
yeah.
hope wish you the best, and yeah, keep getting all those guys and asking the tough questions for sure.